Welcome, everyone, to whatever the name of our show is. It's the Salt Lake Expositor. I was just telling Megan how my brain is not very good at starting things. It's good at postponing things. It's way better at that. But anyway,
my brain is good at that too.
We are third_verse, Momo Nomo, and Latter Daily Digest. And we are here to talk about the news in the Mormon Church and to do, there's lots of good news shows that are out there. We recommend you watch them. Mormon Newscast, Mormon News Roundup, Mormon News Update. And then Rebecca Biblioteca will also just throw out their tidbits here and there. And we like to sort of do more ruminations, more discussions. Megan, how are you doing?
I'm doing well today. Trying to get things finished up to be ready to host some celebrations at my house this week, as well as appear on a couple of podcasts and get my holiday specials all ready to go.
Yay.
Randy, how about you? Do you have all your decorations up?
All my decorations are up. I have put them up several times because we've had some incredibly strong winds come through up to hurricane speed. Tornado speed, 70 and 80 miles an hour.
Well, Randy, I hope it wasn't Hurricane Karen.
No. Fortunately, here's an announcement. She put her house up for sale and she's going to move out of this neighborhood.
Wow.
All because of those freaking decorations.
Probably. Everyone is, kind of shaming her about that. So, yeah, suddenly her house is up for sale. That doesn't break my heart at all.
Are you going to give her a lovely parting gift?
Yeah, I might go over and I was thinking about giving her a full body massage just as a, see you later and thanks for being a neighbor.
And what were the two things that she destroyed the first time?
My big blow up inflatable pumpkin and my inflatable kitty, my kitty cat.
Yeah, so you could buy her an inflatable.
I'm really, really glad that my inflatable buddy, the elf, has stood the test of time and none of my neighbors have knocked him down. But the winds are giving us a difficult time here as well.
I recommend buying her a battery operated boyfriend because she needs to get a lot of sort of nervous energy out.
Coin operated boy. Have you heard that song?
No.
Well, it's pretty cute. Trust me. I just gave you a sampling.
There you go. We've teased that Megan someday should sing on Tuesdays with Tim, and then Randy do his show as well. And I don't have a talent that way.
It's interesting you should say that, Gene, because while going through YouTube and my messages and stuff, I came across Megan singing, playing the piano, a song that I think she actually put together, wrote, produced. And I think
is it like
I think
an
I'm
anthem?
in awe.
It is my anthem for 2026. Yes.
We will run that towards the end of the show as a bonus.
I don't think we should, Gene. I really don't think we should.
We will run that in the after show as a bonus.
It is not a family-friendly song. It only has two main words.
Yeah.
Well, there's nothing wrong with you.
That's true. You is just a perfectly fine word. It's the other word that probably should not be aired on a family show. Is this a family show?
I don't think so.
I feel like we're family.
I feel like we're family. I don't know if our show is a family show.
If you don't want to offend me. So anyway, the big news to me of the week is that the law of common consent, even though it hasn't really been much of anything, kind of got codified, we'll say. And maybe is totally on its way out. And I don't know if I wonder if that'll give them a reason to put other things in, like emeritus when you hit 75, or other things that could be good changes. Well, good changes for us.
Yeah, I think it's so are you going to expound on what you're talking about before, or do you welcome comments at this point?
So let me play this
Okay.
announcement, and then we'll make it work from here.
I already spoke of recent general handbook changes that allow Mormons to use Bibles other than the standard King James Version, and now I want to talk about a few other changes that were made to the handbook that have not been widely publicized. The first one is from section 5.1.1.1. It used to say, when the president of the church dies, the first presidency is dissolved. The counselors return to their positions of seniority within the quorum of the 12 apostles. Under the direction of the senior apostle, the quorum of the 12 leads the church. As a quorum, they consider when the first presidency should be reorganized. After unanimous decision, the senior apostle is ordained as the new president of the church and calls his counselors. And now it says, when the president of the church dies, the first presidency is dissolved. The counselors return to their positions of seniority within the quorum of the 12 apostles. Under the direction of the senior apostle, the quorum of the 12 leads the church. As a quorum, they consider when the first presidency should be reorganized. When it is reorganized, the senior apostle becomes the new president of the church and calls his counselors. Did church leaders just publicly do away with the law of common consent? On the church website, it says, over time, debate in church conferences and sacrament meetings was increasingly viewed as disruptive. Church leaders began to instruct those presiding over meetings to answer any objections raised during a sustaining vote outside of the meeting. Nonetheless, the same vigorous discussion continues today in ward, stake, mission, and general church councils. Latter-day Saints continue to conduct church business by common consent. Those who cast opposing votes are referred to their local leaders to discuss their concerns. Those who vote in favor seek to sustain leaders and programs not only with their vote, but also through their actions, faith, and prayers. If a unanimous vote is no longer necessary for someone to become the prophet, I think the idea of common consent has been officially done away with. As part of this update, they also added a new section, section 12.1.8, that says parents have the primary responsibility to teach their children about baptism and confirmation.
That was good for that.
What is this common consent you speak of?
Well, that was going to be my comment, is that it's been a very, very long time since, I've been in a Mormon church meeting where they have asked for the sustaining vote for church leaders. But almost every time in my later years, I guess I should say probably from 2015 to 2020, whenever we were at a state conference or a general conference, it seemed like somebody gave an opposed vote. And from what I understand, the church, previously they would hash these things out during the meeting, long ago in the beginning of the church. And then they started encouraging the church leaders take the person aside and talk with them about their opposing vote. And then it became even more that they wouldn't take the person aside during the meeting or anytime like that, but they would ask the person to come in and speak with their bishop or their stake president if they voted opposed. Now it seems like they're completely getting rid of the voting. And they've done it the last couple of times that they've instated new apostles, and this time the new prophet, with no vote of common consent prior to, the new apostle or the new prophet taking the position. It used to be that they had to be sustained before they accepted the position and officially started acting in that capacity, but that's not the case anymore. So it's not that the law of common consent may be going away. It has gone away. This new policy change kills it completely, in my opinion.
And it truly didn't matter anyway, because the church never really cared how many people raised their hand to the opposition.
Right.
Like you said, they just funneled them over to a leader. And
Well, it was really more sort of a disguise. Not that they wanted to count your vote, but that they wanted to see how loyal you were. And if you were voting opposed, that gets put down in your record as a note. They voted opposed, not one of us, not loyal.
Or even amongst your friends and family at church, right? Are you rocking the boat or are you towing the line?
Right.
rock the boat, don't rock the boat, baby. It was always on my bucket list to see someone actually oppose, and I never got to see it. So now I'll never see it.
Although Nemo
Yeah.
recorded one of him doing it.
I've seen videos.
Right.
I wanted to be there to feel the spirit of opposition.
I did it 2 times in stake conference, 2022 and 2023. And then last year I was just away.
Did they call you out on that?
So 500 people got to see somebody thinking for themselves for once. And it was crickets. They made an announcement the first time that whoever voted opposed, either at home or at the conference, because they were doing streaming it. What's that called? That service that everybody did? Skype, not Skype.
Live streaming.
Yeah, but they said whoever make an appointment with the stake president, and I made an appointment with the stake president and saw him a few weeks later.
Zoom,
right? And so I had like a 45-minute chat with him. I told him that the church could be better, especially in regards to LGBTQ issues. And he agreed. His job as a lawyer for a big law firm in the San Francisco Bay Area is to sort of inform their clients, the businesses that they work for, how they should act with the laws in California around LGBTQ. And so he agreed that something needs to be done, but he said he was waiting for further light and knowledge from on high.
I wonder if it ever came.
It's all they got was don't let anybody vote anymore. That's all that came from the top.
That's one way to get rid of the opposition. Eliminate their opportunity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
So what do we want to talk about next?
Well, 'tis the season, Gene. Did you know? Go ahead, Randy.
Fa la 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 la. Right?
'Tis the
I
season.
thought it went la 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 cha-ching.
It's 'tis the season for Randy to be treason.
That's true. I think we're probably going to talk about the giving machines, and I just pulled up a video real quick by the Mormon Church explaining what it is. So I'll just kind of run that now, and we'll take a little look-see at this, because I never knew what the giving machines were all about.
Well, and especially if you're outside of Utah, you may not know. So this is good information.
Right? Yes. Okay, here we go. Kind of makes the LDS church look generous, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, what strikes me about this is that so often we see and hear things from the LDS church that look super sparkly and good and nice on the outside. And this is certainly is one of those things. I think it is a wonderful practice. And in fact, you know, me and my kids, as well as my other family members, had started at one point to, instead of exchanging gifts, we would make donations like this. It was through a different program. I forget the name off the top of my head right now, but you could, for example, buy a goat for a family and they could, you know, use that goat for milk and whatever. And so I always thought that was a great thing rather than participating in so much, you know, commercial greed during Christmas time. However, this is basically a PR campaign for the LDS Church. If you really peel back the layers and look at it, there's nothing wrong at all with these charities getting money, with people giving money to them. From what I understand, you know, at least from what the church reports and from what the major news outlets report, all of the money that gets donated goes directly to the charity that is, you know, represented in those little cards. So the commercial, first of all, isn't 100% accurate, because when you go to the giving machine, it doesn't just say soccer ball. It has a specific charity that is associated with that, whether it's the Red Cross or UNICEF or something like that. From what I understand, if you donate through one of those machines, if you donate $50 to the Red Cross, $50 really does go to the Red Cross. However, the Mormon Church is sort of, you know, using this as free marketing for themselves. And what they're doing is they're saying, look, our Light the World machines have raised over $50 million since 2017. And they'll include that figure in their giving total of their, you know, 1.1 billion or whatever. And so, you know, at the end of the year, when they're telling people, they're bragging about the amount of money that they've donated to charity, well, some of it is from these giving machines that are really just a pass through. And so, you know, a lot of people are sort of questioning, like, why wouldn't I just give the money directly to the Red Cross? Why go through the LDS Church? Well, there's a case to be made that these machines make it super convenient to give to several charities at one time in one place. You know, if you're already in a shopping center, there's a giving machine there. It makes it convenient to do it. However, when you know, we've talked about this before, when you compare the wealth of the church with the amount of money that they give to charity and charitable causes every year, it is actually really gross. When you think of a church that has over $350 billion in assets and their annual giving is less than $1.2 million, or sorry, 1.2 billion. You know, they're not really even following the law of tithing, where, you know, if your increase every year, their increase on their assets every year is somewhere between $2 and $3 billion. And
I'm thinking
so
of having Randy donate some money to some organization, and then I'll take the tax write-off.
that's exactly what it sounds like to me. You know, they don't
If
pay
that'll help
taxes
you,
anyway
Gene, yeah.
because they're a 501c3, but it makes them look better. And it makes them, the Mormon atheist says, sounds like a low-level money laundering scheme. Well, it sort of is. It's like these people are donating money to the Red Cross and all these other charities, but the LDS Church is taking the credit for it. And so it's literally hundreds of millions of dollars in free publicity and PR, you know, that they get to sort of claim. That's
Megan,
my take on
does
it anyway.
the church match any donations, or does the church do any donating itself, or is this just they're just facilitating these companies to make their donations and kind of taking the credit for it?
It is the latter, Randy. As far as I know, I have done some research on this, and I have yet to see, first of all, the church is not transparent at all about how much it costs for them to set up and operate these machines. And a lot of it, of course, as you know, is done on a volunteer basis. So it's not like they're paying people to go out there and help people with the kiosks or to set them up. It's all free labor. So yes, they pay the cost of setting up and shipping the kiosks to the locations, and all of the operating costs they cover. However, I've never been able to find anywhere that they match donations on any level at all, which is really what they should be doing. In my opinion, it's like, if you're going to be a shill for other, charitable organizations, you should at least match what is donated. That would be the right thing to do, in my opinion.
It'd be heroic.
Right.
What they do is they say, we'll pay the credit card fee, but we'd rather you'd pay it.
Well, yeah, there's an option where you can cover the credit card fee yourself so that the church doesn't have to pay it.
Because, on one hand, they're saving a couple of dollars here and there for Jesus when he comes.
Well, I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole right now, but yeah, David Grube, basically, yeah, the church provides the collection plates and the people to walk around and pass the plate. That's what they're doing. That's what they're providing. And, it's probably maybe a couple $1 million to set up these machines everywhere. And then they get all this great free publicity. Last year, I got extremely heated over this because there were several celebrities who were going on their social media to promote the giving machines, to say, isn't this a great thing that the LDS Church is doing, non-LDS. And we always know the LDS Church loves it when non-LDS celebrities come out and say something nice about the church.
That reminds me, I heard a story where in Brazil, something happens and the church actually pays for celebrities to come and turn on the Christmas lights at some event. I don't know if it's at temples or whatever, but somebody was thinking, well, these celebrities don't even really care about the church.
Right.
They're just doing it for the money, and it brings just a bunch of attention. It's just a PR stunt.
Right.
And it's just an amazing thing that we see. You could tell that Jesus is running the church because I think he did that. I think it's in the New Testament somewhere where he does something similar. I can't remember. It's been a little while since I read it.
It's astounding and off-putting the amount that they pay celebrities to make these little appearances that you're talking about. I just watched Rebecca do a special on that. It's like, are you kidding me? They pay that much money to have some famous singer come flip the switch. What if they took that $200,000 that the celeb charges and buy some things for the kids? Who the hell needs a celebrity to flip the switch?
I think when they say 200,000, they don't mean dollars. They mean reais, which is reals, as we would pronounce it with the letters, which is, I don't know, like $3 to $1 or something like that. But it's still a lot of money, no matter what. $10,000 would be money that they should be given to poor instead of paying a celebrity, even if that was.
I have no idea what you just said, but it sounded like you knew what you were talking about. Hey eyes, what are hey eyes?
So that's how they pronounce real. We would say real, which is like the king's money. And they pronounce it hey eyes because like Joseph Smith's name is Joseph Schmidt.
Who are they? Who?
The Brazilians. It's the Brazilian government or not government, but that where the church is paying all these celebrities to light up these Christmas lights, to turn the lights on. So anyway, yes, the giving machine. What a brilliant, I don't know, whoever had that idea probably as a lower level church employee is probably a 70 now.
I admire the church for thinking of this. This is a genius thought, but I would admire them a whole lot more if they were contributing along with all of these contributors outside of the church. Then I would say that's a charitable thing. But like you said, all this publication, the publicity, the all of the credit going to the church. And as long as I've heard about these machines, I've never heard who is doing the donating until when I was yesterday years old.
Did you want to say something, Megan?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's frustrating to me that, I mean, it looks all benign on the outside, but people don't really realize what's really going on. And, I think the members are largely ignorant to how bad this looks to other people when you look at it like it really is. They have the opportunity and the funds to match everything, but they're not doing that. And the question is, why not?
The Lord does not need your money.
And apparently, neither does the poor people need the church's money, right? In their opinion. And Elder Kase, we should get that as one of our things, where he says the church is not a charitable organization. So
Yep.
I'll put you in charge of that, Megan, because you're
Oh, okay, definitely.
you're pretty good at that.
Yeah, charitable they're not.
I also do want to say as well, if you go and you just Google Light the World machines or giving machines locations, the Texas giving machines have their very own webpage. So you can look up Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, all of the different locations where these machines are. And you can even donate right there on the page. And they have, the names of the charities on there, like the San Antonio Food Bank is on there, and the San Antonio Rotary Organization, which gives to a lot of educational causes and things like that. So I just wish that they would match the donations. That would be a reason to have the kiosk. Otherwise, the reason to have the kiosk is clearly just PR.
Hey, everybody, look at us. Look what we're doing.
Yep. Would you say, Randy, that they are perhaps giving their alms before men to be seen of the world?
And they're giving
I
somebody
think-
else's alms to be seen before the world.
Yep, I do. Absolutely. They're not praying in the closet. They're not giving
No, it's
anonymously.
Grammy Emptums.
It's like, if Randy gave me $200 and said, hey, I really think that your church in San Antonio could use this money. And I go to the church here and I make a big deal out of I buy one of those big cardboard checks and hand it to the church official and shake their hand and get a picture taken and never once mention Randy's name. That's what it feels like to me.
That's why I stopped sending you all the money, Megan.
Well, those fake checks cost like $150.
I saw a picture of the people at the giving machine and they give them these big, like giant check things, only I donated such and such to this, that they can get their picture taken with. That's not charitable, anonymous giving from the heart. That's just like, look what we've done.
I'm going to say it. Don't cast somebody else's alms before men. Trevor has a good idea. Donate half of what you have and to actually solve some world problem. And that would be great PR.
It would be. Well, and as I always say, when this conversation comes up, even if they would only alleviate poverty among their own members, that would be a huge, huge step in the right direction.
Yeah, even in Salt Lake.
Yeah, even if they said, you know what, we don't want to give money to anybody who's not Mormon, fine, that's their prerogative. But what if they then, if they provided housing and food enough so that nobody in the church worldwide was below the poverty level? Housing, food, and jobs. They could provide all kinds of jobs for people, cleaning the churches, teaching. They could actually pay professional educators to teach in the church instead of asking them to do it for free. Like all other churches, pay their teachers, they pay their musicians, they pay all of the people who work in the church. And even though there is some volunteer stuff that goes on, the people who run the church and do the administration work and everything get paid a regular amount of money, just like any other company.
Amen to that. The church obviously doesn't agree with that, Megan.
Yeah.
That's why they don't hire people to do their laundry.
Well, I'm thinking of it from the standpoint, not that they should pay everybody who has a calling in the church, but that they could provide jobs for people who are underemployed or unemployed. They could provide jobs for people who, you know, are working at a wage that's below the poverty level. They could pay them a better wage to do either the same work or different work. But there is no kind of program in place to help the members that way.
I was disgusted at a comment that I saw from, I'm sorry, it was Tracy or something. Anyway,
Trace
she
on the
was
case.
saying that what's that?
I think it's Trace on the case.
Yeah, saying that an elderly woman requested of two missionaries to maybe get a blanket. And they told her, yeah, they'll get her a blanket, but she's got to start coming to church first. Boy, that just tells the story right there of
Yep.
how charitable is the LDS philosophy.
And as long as we are on this sort of track of the church providing for its own members, we should also mention that with these new handbook updates, the church has clarified and codified its position that people should seek help from their families first. And if their families are unable to provide, they should seek help from government assistance and local charities before they ask the church for help. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, what? I'm sorry.
Right?
They would rather have their members apply for food stamps than allow them to go to the bishop's storehouse. That's what they're putting in writing now. It's in the handbook now.
It's ridiculous. That burns my butt.
Have Caesar rend something unto you before you ask the church to help.
Well, and I can attest that was definitely, when I went to my bishop asking for help during my divorce, they essentially told me I should be looking to my family. And at the time, I was estranged from my parents. I wasn't speaking to a lot of my family members for my own mental health.
Well, you
But the
probably
assumption was
able
if you
TV.
have family members, they should be helping you.
You probably had cable TV, so
I did
you
not
didn't
actually,
qualify.
Randy. I have only ever had satellite streaming service, maybe for just a couple of years, but definitely did not at the time that I was asking for help.
Wasn't it you that was telling us the story that
That was my bishop.
You asked for help, and he's like, "Well, do you have cable TV? Because if you do, then which I'll never forget that story because that's just the attitude they gets gaslighting.
Well, it's the idea that they get to decide, whether or not they're going to help you based on their own version of what moral superiority is. My bishop asked me if I had cable, and I said no, that I didn't. And he said, good, because when people come asking for help, that's one of the first things that I ask them. If they have cable, I tell them to cancel their cable before the church is going to help them. And it's another one of those instances of bishop roulette where the bishop has the ultimate deciding power as to whether somebody gets to go to the storehouse and get food assistance or not. And so now it looks more like they're going to ask you, can your family help you? And if they can't help you, have you gone to the San Antonio Food Bank, for example, or another food bank, or have you applied for food stamps? And if you then get denied or you're not able to get that assistance, then they would be willing to give you something under conditions, I'm sure. As long as you're attending church, you're fulfilling your calling, you've got a temple recommend, you're paying your tithing. Because again, we'll just say, we know that it's the case that if you have a question about that.
If a destitute family is faced with the decision of paying their tithing or eating, they should pay their tithing.
And then hope that the bishop will help them find something to eat.
They're the judges. They're the ones that will decide if you need help, not you.
Right.
They'll make that decision.
I've been checking my scale, and maybe I should have been paying more tithing lately. I'm a little overweight. I've been eating too much.
That's right.
Yeah,
You guys
I
are ready for
guarantee you,
holidays.
it doesn't have much to do with tithing. Whether you gain weight or not. I've seen what you eat.
Oh yeah, no, yes, but also like ask your family first. Don't we call like 200 people in our ward brother and sister every week when we were going?
It's supposed to be your ward family.
It's pretty dang family-y.
Yeah.
Right?
So another thing happened was that I don't know, the scriptures are wide open now to any version you want, apparently.
Yeah. So as part of these new policy changes, the church handbook has now said that you can use other versions than the King James version for personal study. Now, here's kind of the ridiculous thing about this, and this is a way bigger deal than people who are not Mormons will understand. The LDS Church puts out a Joseph Smith translation of the King James version of the Bible, and that's been the only approved version for study at all.
Alternate. The only approved
And
alternate
now,
version to the King James.
right. Well, because the Joseph Smith translation conveniently puts in some little clues that might hint at somebody like a Joseph Smith coming forth and, bringing forward a new book of scripture.
Well, you know that they're not going to really take heed to what those people say that don't have the King James inspired version by Joseph Smith.
Well,
Because
go ahead.
They'll comment in class, but then I guarantee you the teacher's going to say, I understand why that sounds like that, but here, let's go to the inspired version of the King James version, Joseph Smith.
Trumps everybody.
Bullocks. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, here's the problem that I see arising. Trevor Larson is correct. The KJV is considered the worst and most inaccurate version by Bible scholars. The Joe version is even worse because he modifies further, right? But here's, as a former gospel doctrine teacher, here's what I see happening in this instance. People are going to go home and read their regular English translation of the Bible, and there are going to be conflicts and inconsistencies between that and what the church doctrine teaches. And people are going to have questions that are going to come up during gospel doctrine discussions because the two versions are not going to match. They're going to contradict each other. And so it basically says, the Lord said that he speaks to men and women, quote, after the manner of their own language, that they might come to understanding. And so they're more inclined to accept and follow his teachings when they can understand them. So basically they're saying church members are so dumb that they need to go ahead now and read the English Standard Version of the Bible instead of the KJV. And so the handbook says it allows for more flexibility in using different editions. It said generally they should use a preferred or church published edition of the Bible in church classes and meetings, but they can use these other versions that are easier to understand at home. And so they've listed here the things that they approve, the different versions they approve for different reading levels. And then they say, when members encounter doctrinal discrepancies between the translations, they should refer to the Book of Mormon, Doctrine and Covenants, Pearl of Great Price, and Teachings of Latter-day Prophets, because that's going to happen. They're going to have a lot of discrepancies between the versions, and it's going to cause problems.
Latter-day Living Prophets.
They're afraid that people might start thinking on their own if they, if they don't have the gospel teachers to keep them in the straight line. That, yeah, it may say that in your version of the Bible, but it's not what the prophet said. I can just hear it now. All these contradictions.
I wonder if they're going to make an announcement and say, because we're now using modern language Bibles, and Joseph Smith was inspired by God to use King James language, we are going to authorize a committee of BYU scholars and linguists to come out with modern day version of the Book of Mormon that could be used also in the home or
Yeah.
even at church. And that'll set the stage for them to say at some point, gee, Joseph Smith was just inspired. It's every word he wrote didn't come exactly from God, and they're just going to go with that.
Yep. And here's another slight problem. The new approved ESV version of the Bible comes with a study guide that is often sold with it that calls Mormonism a cult. Whoopsie.
Why ever would they say that?
If you go out and buy a new ESV and you buy the study guide that comes with it, it might call your religion a cult. And that's going to cause some problems in gospel doctrine class.
Right. Well, I'm astounded every day that there are people, within the organization we call a church, which is a corporation. There are very intelligent people that continue to follow that, continue to abide by everything the church says. And I completely believe that it's all because of the catch that the church offers. You can live with your families forever, eternally, if you're a member of the church, if you pay your tithing, if you obey the word of wisdom, if you go to the temple, and on and on and on. Then you meet the criteria to live with your family forever. And that's what keeps people, attorneys, doctors, people who are incredibly intellectual. That's what keeps them from leaving the church, is that, well, I don't want to take a chance. I'm indoctrinated. I don't want to take a chance that I'll lose my family. So yes, I'll keep paying.
That also keeps 8 billion, 40 million other earthlings from joining the church.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, for sure. While we're on the subject of this changing the KJV, Rebecca Biblioteca had a really interesting video this week as well, where she speculated that if we're changing the KJV, are changes to the Book of Mormon coming next? So let's just watch this little thing.
I was doing some research on the new versions of the Bible that the LDS Church now say are okay to use, shockingly. And I came across a message board from way back in 2013 where somebody had asked the question, do you think they'll ever drop the King James Version? And everybody weighed in and their comments were spot on. It was almost like they were prophets. One that I thought was so interesting is somebody said, well, I don't think they can, because if they did, they would have to retool and rework the Book of Mormon to be more, easy to understand, conversational. Would that have a shift in doctrines, in content? Somebody else said, no, this is great. This is a chance to do that, to make the Book of Mormon more accessible and to kind of maybe sweep under the carpet some of the more pesky things in there. I don't know. What do you think? KJV, not used anymore. Now, the Book of Mormon, possibly the next thing on the chopping block or to change.
Yeah, good point.
So what do you guys think? Do you think they will start to change the language in the Book of Mormon since it so heavily quotes the KJV?
No, because if they do that and it reads like a novel, people will say, wait, this is a novel. I mean, if you take the scripture-y language out of the Book of Mormon, it then becomes a story that doesn't seem real. It seems like a science fiction type story. But with all the scriptural language in there, then it seems to be more what's the word I'm looking for? When something becomes scripture, it is canonized, right?
Canonized. Yeah. Yeah.
I just think if they make it casual, they're out.
I always love when I see and it's been way back when now that these guys went through and read parts of the Book of Mormon and they replaced, and it came to pass with, and I you not.
Yeah.
And, that's kind of what it seems like it would turn into, because it's so unbelievable. And it literally is science fiction, because there were no nails, there were no horses, there was no steel, there was no silk. There are so many anachronisms that it would just be silliness at this point.
But it would allow them to change horses to tapers in the Book of Mormon if they changed it. This is a Book of Mormon horse right here.
Book of Mormon horse.
Yeah, they had them back then. I think I've learned more from Exmo Snark, your Monday night channel. I think I've learned more about the Book of Mormon watching you two than I ever did reading the Book of Mormon. I was bored when I read it, but with you guys telling the stories, it keeps it interesting and fun.
Well, thank you for that. I really appreciate it. We have a really good time together, obviously, being snarky.
That's because all the Book of Mormon stories should have lots of giggles interspersed through everything.
Well, it's so
Right.
ridiculous at some point. You really just have to laugh at it. And I'm very excited to tell you that just in time for Christmas, our ex-Mormon Snark shop, I believe, is going to be live on Monday. And I can show you a little sneak peek. I don't think it's ready for people to pay yet. I think that's the one little snag. But we have some quite exciting and fun merchandise. I hope you don't mind me doing this shameless plug, just because I think our merch is super funny. And if you don't, it's okay. You can lie to me. But we have this lovely coffee cup that says, "This I drink this cup of Joe for and on behalf of Joe Smith, who is dead." We
That's
have,
funny.
of course, our labeled merchandise. We've got a beanie and a hat. We have a nice fig leaf towel that says, "See, you are naked." And then this is probably
How
my
did you
favorite.
know?
Well, of course, we've got our Make LDS Mormon Again t-shirts. And then
That's funny.
we have a nice hoodie and a t-shirt. We've got the poster that says International House of Handshakes, which has a tapir on the top, which is what made me think of the shop in the first place. And then this is probably my favorite, I have to say. We have a sticker sheet with irreverent temple sayings like, "What is wanted? Let us go down. Delicious to the taste and very desirable." That's my favorite one.
Nice. Now I'll never hear those that I don't think of putting them in a different context, like your stickers.
And there's a knock 3 times on the ceiling if you want me. Twice on the pipe if the answer is no.
You know,
Yeah.
Tim alluded to the fact that Rebecca Biblioteca said something about coffee becoming legal in the church. Do you remember that? It was a few Tuesdays with Tim ago. And I searched and searched, and I couldn't find anything that said that, or I couldn't find Rebecca saying anything about coffee. So I guess my question is, have you guys heard anything like that?
So I think because it's becoming prominent in the Mormon-y reality TV shows where they're just waltzing around with a beverage in their hand of choice. And sometimes it says Starbucks and it's not always hot chocolate, I bet. But
Well, I want you to know that in my Christmas mug today, I had eggnog. So it was not coffee.
Oh, I love eggnog. And begs the question, why in the hell don't they make eggnog sugar-free? Everything else you can buy sugar-free. Why not eggnog?
Well, you can
Every
make
year
your
I
own
look,
delicious sugar-free eggnog, Randy, if you wanted to.
that's a process.
It
That's a
is a
process.
process.
I did make it once. I'll never, because you have to stir and stir and
Yeah.
stir, keep
I
the
would-
eggs from congealing. And
I would make my own, but we're all out of nog.
I'm going to vote
you have
that they
eggs though?
also the companies bring eggnog for Father's Day as a summertime beginning of a summer treat, so that we don't have to wait just until the end of the year to have an eggnog every year.
It's a good thought.
Yeah.
I actually have seen sugar-free eggnog. I'll take a picture of it when I see it next time, Randy, and I'll send it to you.
You've seen it in stores?
Yeah, but I shop at, shady stores.
Yeah.
Who knows if it's real nog, Gene?
Yeah.
It might be a nog off.
Version.
That was so Gene of you.
It was really
Yeah.
Gene of me.
I feel
I've
honored.
spent too much time with the two of you.
Finally rubbing off.
I'm going to show you all a picture, but just keep talking amongst yourselves.
Yeah. Well, Megan, are you ready for Christmas then?
I'm not. I'm not ever ready, but I will get as ready as I can. I always really enjoy Christmas Eve. Actually, this Christmas Eve, I'm going to be appearing on the RFM Christmas show on Christmas Eve. I'm excited about that.
Put in,
And
a good
I'm
word
gonna-
put in a good word for Maven.
Yeah.
that'll help you.
Right. I'm sure they will not appreciate that. But yeah, I'm also doing my own Christmas show over on my Patreon. I'll be posting a live video where I'm just playing recordings of me singing Christmas stuff and playing Christmas songs. So
Oh, that's cool.
yeah,
When are you going to do that, Megan?
it's probably going to air Christmas Eve day during the day, and then it'll be available for people to watch throughout the holiday season.
Oh, how fun. Speaking of Christmas and wintertime and everything, the other day I looked out my window and what did I see?
Popcorn?
Nope.
A
This
moose?
guy.
I saw this picture and I thought, this cannot be real. You had an actual moose in your yard?
Right?
It's not
Yeah.
a blow up moose.
This is the neighbor's yard, but he came right through the gate where our house is and wandered around and ended up over there. Isn't that's just I don't know, that's
crazy.
majestic to me.
It really is. Moose are so huge until you see them in person. It's almost like you don't really understand how big they are. I saw one at the north rim of the Grand Canyon one year, and I remember looking out the window and I saw her trotting along. It was a female moose. And I remember thinking to myself, what in God's name is this over steroided deer doing over here? It took me a second before I was like, oh, it's a moose, because a female moose doesn't have the big antlers. It was just huge. And I remember seeing a Mythbusters episode where they talked about the fact that there is absolutely no good way to hit a moose. If you hit a moose, you pretty much are going to die.
And the moose
They're so
probably won't
huge.
fare very well either.
Yeah,
They also don't make good pets.
I would assume not. No, I don't know if you've seen the TikTok videos with the guy who brings the cow into his kitchen, but I can only imagine, moose or mises or whatever they are much
Like-
bigger than cows.
I like chocolate
Taller.
moose the best.
Me too, actually.
I think it's mice, multiple moose or mice. The only moose I've ever known personally, like intimately, is Bullwinkle from Bullwinkle
you
and Rocky.
That well, huh?
Yeah. It's intimate. Yeah.
We used to have
But no children.
Not with Bullwinkle and I, because he's
Just
a
like,
guy too.
just like Joseph Smith and his wives.
Yeah.
right.
Same
Right.
thing.
We used to have names for our cars when I was younger, and my dad named the blue '72 Volkswagen Beetle, that was Bullwinkle, and then the van was Rocky.
Oh,
I don't know why.
nice.
I have no idea why, but Bullwinkle was the name of my Beetle that I drove in high school.
You know, it kind of occurred to me that Rocky, and this was just the other day, I was thinking how they came up with that character, but he's a flying squirrel. Like there really are flying squirrels. And I guess that's what Rocky was. But as
Maybe
a
in the
kid,
Rocky Mountains.
yeah, as a kid, I'm thinking, well, he's just a squirrel that has superpowers, can fly. No, he's a flying squirrel. It's all natural, folks. That's not camera tricks.
And it's real.
And it's real. That's right.
Is there anything? I mentioned sort of how Joseph Smith doesn't have any progeny from his other wives that we are aware of using DNA or anything. Randy and I interviewed this past week, and I've already shown the show. Randy, are you going to show the show?
Yeah, I've almost got it ready to go.
With Karen Wyatt, who was recently excommunicated because she's a woman, and she talked about ideas she had that were different from what the brethren had in mind of what women should talk about.
Oh, if I had a nickel.
Right. But interestingly enough, she wants to get back into the church. Oh, wow.
Well, I don't know if you guys know this, but Joseph Smith's, the anniversary of his birthday is coming up on the 23rd of December. It will be the 220th anniversary of his birth.
Smithmas.
And Smithmas, Mary Smithmas. And to commemorate the date, I will be airing an episode where I interviewed Ganesh Cherian, who is the author of Joseph Smith, Architect of Mormonism, a topical biography. And we talked extensively about Joseph Smith's rap sheet, his 42 arrests, and all of the different criminal charges and civil cases he was involved in during his life. It was
Because his
very,
life should
very
be
interesting.
honored and shown to the world.
Well, I didn't necessarily want to honor him on his birthday, but I did want people to know more about his life. So
I think it's needed. I think people need to know more about his life.
yeah, I, for one,
the church isn't going to tell them.
No, and even in the gospel topic essays, they say that Joseph was never convicted of any of these charges. And I was always told as a kid, you know, people who hated him trumped up these charges. They weren't real. That's why he was never sent to, you know, to jail legitimately. Well, the problem is he actually never stood trial for a large number of these charges, including being charged for treason twice, being charged for arson, receiving stolen goods, you know, a lot of different things that probably a lot of people don't know about.
Interesting. Well, speaking of, once again, Christmas, what are y'all's plans for Christmas?
Go, Gene.
I can tell I'm not going to get a word in edgewise because you guys are so talkative about your Christmas plans. It must be exciting.
So we are going to move all of our Christmas dinner stuff to my mother-in-law's house because she recently fractured her left wrist.
Oh, ouch.
And instead of her traveling and coming the 3 whole blocks to our house, we're going to take all the, we're going to have ham and yams and string bean, what's it called?
Casserole.
Green bean casserole, pecan pie. And we're going to have to pack up the van and take it a quarter of a mile away.
I somehow knew, Gene, that when I asked what you were doing for Christmas, you would give me the menu of what's for the meal.
'Tis the reason for the season.
That's right. Food.
That's where we use salt and peppers for the food.
Keep food in Christmas.
'Tis the reason for the seasonings.
Well, I'm having a little gathering at my house on Christmas Eve during the day. And then my kids are going to be at their dad's for Christmas Eve and Christmas morning. So I will probably be hanging out with Samuel and his kids and family. We will no doubt have a fantastic dinner at Samuel's house because he's a fantastic chef. I have a little special bottle of something that we're going to share. And then Christmas Day, my kids will be here for the rest of the day, and we will have a big feast on Christmas Day.
Well, that sounds wonderful.
What about you, Randy?
It's all about family. You know, it's a little up in the air. Usually I have my sons here who fly in from Chicago and Hollywood, and then I have a son here and a daughter here. So hopefully we'll all get to be together again. And, you know, we have a stepdaughter, Peyton, who's, she just turned 12. And she's kind of lucky because she gets to have Christmas with her daddy, Christmas with us, and Christmas over at her Nana and Grandpa's. Although we combine Nana and Grandpa and Amanda and I and Peyton, we always do one of the meals here at my place and probably another one over there at their place. So we kind of double up on it too.
Yeah,
But
that's fun.
we made an agreement this year, Amanda and I, and I'm kind of freaking out a little bit, but I am trying to stay calm, that we're not going to get each other gifts, that we can pick out our own gift and buy it for ourselves. So she picked out what she wanted, and I haven't picked mine out yet, but I know it's going to be a new garage door opener because our old one is dying quickly.
And then do you wrap it and open it and say, "Oh, honey, look what you got me"?
Nope. What I did was I bought candy from Lila Tuller, and because she makes this amazing, what are those nuts? It's like peanut brittle, only it's oh crap. You know those
hazelnut.
nuts? No. Oh my gosh. See, this is the problem with getting old.
Pistachio.
My brain stem. Yes, thank you. Yeah, pistachio nuts. She made this
Brittle.
incredible brittle out of it, and I'm giving each of my kids some of that, and my grandkids get gift certificates, and my kids will get gift certificates for their favorite restaurant. But other than that, I'm not. And I got my stepdaughter something special. But other than that, I'm not worried about it. I'm not doing it this year. I am not going to do it. I'm not going to freak out and go crazy at the stores on Christmas Eve because I forgot someone. I don't care. I don't care. And Amanda, I will get her something, even though we agreed not to. And it's just, I don't know if she can hear me, but it's just writing a letter of tribute to her.
You know, I think that's lovely. And that's kind of what Samuel and I do too. We exchange cards and we share a lovely bottle of something together. And that is our tribute to each other.
When you say bottle, do you mean like hydrocodone, Vicodin?
Advil. No, Samuel and I each, we are each bourbon aficionados. And so at some point during the year, each of us finds something really special that we want to share just with each other, and we save it until Christmas time. And then we each have a little of whatever the other has found. And it's always, you know, kind of a fun little thing throughout the year to be looking for whatever it is that's going to be coming up and then sharing it together.
And maybe a little in your eggnog?
Maybe a little in the eggnog too, although it would kind of be a shame to mix it with anything at all. So
It's that good, huh?
it's that good. Yeah.
I don't know much about drinking, but I do know that I love the flavor of rum. And like in Jamaica, oh my gosh, the rum cake is just extraordinary. And I think it's probably because you can taste the rum in it. But
Yeah, definitely.
I love that flavor of rum. Isn't that what they put in eggnog?
Well, a lot of people do. Yeah. Some people use whiskey or bourbon instead. But that's one of the things I love about rum and bourbon is that the flavor profiles can be so different depending on what kind you get. And So that's why it's not just, whatever Jack Daniels is on the shelf. We try to find different interesting tastes or flavor combinations, or sometimes they will ferment the bourbon in a cask of a different type of alcohol. Like my favorite is when they do it in a sherry cask, because then you get kind of the sweetness of the sherry along with the bourbon. So it
So
can
you're
be
a
as
connoisseur.
complicated it can be as complicated as wine.
I used to have to repent for buying rum raisin ice cream. I'd rather eat it and repent than not consume it.
That is the sin next to murder, according to the LDS doctrine, if I'm not mistaken.
No, it's one down from, it's the sin second to next to murder.
Depends on
Oh,
what I do with the
penultimate
rum
sin.
raisin ice cream, I suppose.
So what do you do afterwards? Randy, speaking of rum cake, I have an aunt who is a faithful LDS member who loves to make rum cake. And, everybody says, well, oh, just the alcohol cooks out of the cake. Don't worry. Well, she uses real rum in the icing as well.
The hell
And
it does.
quite generous with
Yeah,
it.
you must cook the hell out of the icing too.
Nope, sure doesn't. And it's that.
No,
Yeah,
the rum cake, if it's proper rum cake, is rather saturated
yes,
with
indeed.
rum, with
Yep.
its zing. And yeah.
That inspires me. I might make a rum cake this year.
Really?
Yeah, I think I will.
But I forgot to tell you, I'm going to Megan's house for Christmas.
You are welcome. You're welcome to join us. We'll have breakfast tacos. It'll be lovely.
Nice. So is that a tradition?
We always do some kind of a breakfast something, but it kind of changes depending on who's around and who's not, because my kids all have their different preferences. But we almost always do some version of funeral potatoes, like cheesy potatoes. And but for breakfast, we go all out when we do breakfast. I usually make homemade crepes or cinnamon rolls or something like that. Breakfast is a big deal around here.
My favorite potatoes are the cheap boxes you can get during the holidays at the grocery store of potatoes au gratin. And it comes dry. The potatoes are dry in there, but after they cook, I don't know. There's just something about the flavor that's incredible. So this year, we're going to do enchiladas, ham, and those freaking potatoes.
Well, Randy, when you come to San Antonio, I will make some au gratin potatoes for you that will blow your freaking mind, and you'll never be able to eat the boxed ones again.
I'm always up for a good mind blow for sure. I went to take a drink of my coffee and I don't think it's here.
Well, if we don't see you again, lovely chatters, audience members, fellow expositors, I
we
wish
still
you
have a
all
show.
a very Merry Christmas and a happy holiday. I hope that you get some time to decompress, relax, and recharge.
That's right.
And remember, don't worry about going out and doing stuff. Just enjoy your family.
So, but did we say what your tomorrow show is, Megan? Tomorrow night? Did we already say that?
For Kirsten and I, tomorrow night is How Do Mormons Celebrate Christmas, and what do Kirsten and I do now that we are not Mormons? And then again on Tuesday is going to be my show with Ganesh Cherian, talking about Joseph Smith's rap sheet, basically. And then Kirsten and I will be airing a Christmas special on our channel the day before Christmas, Christmas Eve day. I'll have my musical extravaganza on Patreon that day. So it's a busy few days.
Randy and I are going to do a live 24-hour tracking of Santa on NORAD. Starting midnight the 25th. No, I'm just teasing. We're not going to do that.
I'll take the early shift.
That's right. All right. Well, I guess that's a wrap then. Christmas
Merry
rap.
Christmas to all.
One of my favorite Christmas songs of all time. And actually, maybe that's what we'll do for Tuesdays with Tim. How about that? Talk about favorite Christmas songs. but it's Christmas Wrapping from the Waitresses.
Oh,
It's one of my
Very
favorite
interesting.
Christmas songs of all time.
yeah.
Rapping as in WRAPPING or RAPPING?
So it's a rap song from the 80s when they actually would say words and you understood every single word they said.
So you could call it Christmas rap.
So it's Christmas Wrapping, but it's, yeah,
There you
it's
go.
double entendre or whatever. All right. Thanks everybody for watching. Have a
Don't
great
forget,
The Lord does not need your money.
Oh, that's right. And then, so the after show, if people want to come in, we're going to play Megan's other family unfriendly
my new 2026 anthem.
2026 anthem. That'll probably be 2027 and 2028 and 2029 anthem. You never know, unless you think of more. If you could think of another song with more than 2 words in it,
I might.
you can improve on it. All right. Goodbye, everybody.